What is going on today? We are doing YouTube channel reviews. For those of you that are coming over from the news, giving you just a little preview of the background here for the, and I'm going to shut all this stuff off, but just giving you a little behind the scenes look, you know, as a little bonus for those of you that came over here early. But basically what we are going to be doing is we are going to be looking at YouTube channels and giving tips on things that you can do to get more views, more subscribers, more revenue on the content that you are, already putting up. We're going to be looking at thumbnails. We're going to be looking at titles. We're going to be looking at, everything, when it comes to looking at your YouTube channel. We're going to be looking at, all the stuff that's happening with your YouTube channel so that we can, or not all the stuff, we don't have stats access, of course. But one of the things that we're definitely going to be doing is pulling up channels, putting them on screen and saying, hey, you should do this with your thumbnails. You should do this with your titles, make sure you're keeping these types of things in mind, those sorts of things. So typically for these live streams, people get a lot of, value out of these. I hope you do as well. How this whole thing works for those of you that, that are just, coming over here, or maybe this is your first time being here. What we do is we add a hashtag, and I pull it up on screen. I'll show you here in just a minute. But basically, we add a hashtag into the chat, and all you have to do is put that hashtag. And the thing that I'm using, it's a giveaway tool from StreamYard. What it's going to do is it's going to just randomize all of those, and it just randomly picks one. And I show it on screen, when it's picking them, so everything's above board and all that. But basically, that's how it works. So this is all, 100% free, thanks to TubeSpanner. If you're not familiar with TubeSpanner or what, TubeSpanner is a tool for YouTube content creators. It helps you with all kinds of things. There's like a link in bio tool to help you interconnect your social media accounts. There is an upload assistant to help you upload your videos faster and more efficiently. There is a social sharing tool where you can share your content out to the social media platforms without even having to leave YouTube. You even have a note-taking tool where you can take notes on any video that you watch on YouTube, even yours, and you can export them as chapters, or you can just download those, so you have the notes available on your computer. They even have an AI script writing tool, AI title generator, all kinds of things that will help you with your YouTube channel. But you can try that for yourself at tubespanner.com/Nick, or just go to tubespanner.com. Doesn't matter to me. I just want you to check it out because it's a sweet tool. This is an example, of the upload assistant right here that you see on the right, and the link in bio tool on the left-hand side. But basically, these things are going to, help you in a bunch of different ways with your YouTube channel. That's why I'm trying to bring it to your attention. So with all that out of the way, let's get into some channel reviews. So how this works for those of you that are just joining us is I'm putting a hashtag in right now. And as I put in this hashtag, then what's going to happen is I'm going to put it up on screen like I just did, and then I'm going to put it up on screen here. And then as you can see this, all you have to do is put in hashtag TubeSpanner into the chat, and then this tool that I'm using is going to go ahead and, randomly pick somebody out of the chat that ended up putting in that, that hashtag. So if you want your channel pulled up and you want some tips and some advice about things that you can do to improve your channel, then make sure you put in that hashtag, and we'll see what we can do for you. And by the way, I just picked up a one of the new Rodecaster Pros. It's not new anymore, but now I've got like
voice effects, so I can really bother you.
I've got some low ones too.
So I'm gonna be like a child in here, playing around with these probably just because it's a new toy. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's see here. So right now we've only got 34 entries, just waiting for a few more entries to come in, give people some time in case they were out grabbing coffee or whatever, because I started here just a few minutes early. So I just want to make sure people have time to get it in there. Just gonna wait for a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and pull it for the early birds here. I'll do it now for the early bird. You guys came over, you've been hanging out, so we'll go ahead and pull it. Excuse me. Here we go. Let's see, so if I do this. All right, so the Creator Classroom, we're gonna be pulling up your channel here, and we're gonna see exactly what we can do here for you. So already familiar with her channel. I'm gonna pull this down for a second while I actually pull it up. The Creator Classroom, boom. So since I'm already familiar with her channel, I already know, what she does on the channel. So basically, she teaches people how to use Canva for YouTube. So this is a great bit of promotion in the event that, you are somebody that uses Canva for, what it is that you're doing on YouTube. Just as a heads up, you might want to check her out. But let's see what you got going on here. And hey, 3,033 subs. That's cool. That's cool. So let's see here. Upcoming live streams. Creating iCache, that's the most recent upload. Start here for the newest. Okay, so the very first thing, because I know you have a lot of content. I see up here you have 298 videos on your YouTube channel. So the very first thing that I would do is I would get more content here onto your front page. This is one of those things to where, as soon as you have, a video take off, then you want to make sure that you're able to absorb that traffic when it comes into your YouTube channel. The best way to do that is to structurally set up your YouTube channel in a way to make it easy for people to find what it is that they want from you. So, for example, if we go to your videos tab, we see, you've got 300 videos on here, almost 300 videos here on the channel. And, out of these 300 videos, if somebody was looking on your channel page for content, if they just hit that page and then they end up scrolling down, they might miss one of your series or, one of the playlists that you put together because you didn't put it here. So I would definitely get more content onto your channel page as fast as you possibly can. In addition to that, this area up here, on a mobile device, this is probably fine, but it's a little bit awkward on a desktop. I would just use one of these so that you can, have it to where there's just a little bit more screen real estate, because what I'd want to see on page load is I'd want to see, this playlist down here, because it's, start here to see the newest features in Canva. So because of that, I would lose one of these just to get to this faster. Here on the channel page. In terms of your playlist titles, I think these are fine, even though this isn't one necessarily for, if YouTube were to show it somewhere or something like that. I mean, it still is, but, this one's more for the purpose of being, put here, so I understand what's going on there. The latest Canva tutorials 2023, you're using actual titles for your playlists, which is great. But one thing to keep in mind is here you have like featured Canva tutorials. Since you are going after, YouTube content creators, one thing you might also want to consider is having like, featured, Canva tutorials for YouTube or, something like that, just to add that, additional clarity. Because like right now, when I mentioned like, hey, if you are somebody that's into Canva, you might want to go check her out. Right now, you probably have some people that are hitting your YouTube channel. And they're like, hey, what's going on here? What kind of videos do they make? How are their videos doing? What are they offering? Blah, blah, blah. And, these types of little details right here would let people know that like this playlist, is definitely for, YouTubers. But I think these are going to be pretty easy to identify though, because you do have the YouTube logo on here, which is really smart with your thumbnails. So I think those are going to be, easy for people to identify. But I would definitely start just making more playlists and, getting them onto your channel page. And then also thinking about, if somebody is going to, land on this, then I need to make sure that if I am serving YouTubers, that some of the language that I have here in these playlist titles is also, targeted towards them as well. And then that will also help you in the event that that playlist ends up showing up in like YouTube search, or if it gets recommended next to another video or something like that. That will also help you there be able to attract YouTubers specifically, since that is, who it is that you are targeting here with your content. So next thing I want to talk about, let's go to your videos tab. Actually, we're just going to do a quick best practice here. Can do for your YouTube channel. Okay. So one thing that I'm a big fan of is optimizing this sort of thing. So as you can see right here, what's happening is this little area right here that you have underneath your channel name. It says, do you know you can use Canva to improve your YouTube channel? Most, right? So I would definitely kind of reword all of this so you can make it a little bit more succinct, so that you can get something, more impactful here in terms of, learn how to use Canva, for YouTube, period. The best Canva tips and tricks for YouTube content creators or something like that. Whatever will fit into that area, but trying to get as much, impact that you can in that area is definitely something that you want to think about. More importantly, because you have this up here, so somebody lands on the channel page, they're going to get it. But more importantly, when it comes to this particular area, when people share this out onto other platforms, they're going to see some of this blurb. So you also want to make sure that you're thinking through, okay, if Nick shares this out on Twitter, since he has a bunch of YouTubers following him on Twitter, then I need to make sure that this first part of my description clearly would talk to a YouTube content creator and let them know that I'm going to help them in some way as it relates to Canva. So I would just kind of redo that particular part right there, just so you can make that, a little bit more impactful for the people that are sharing it. Let's see here. The Canva Classroom, change that. That's fine. All this, that's good. Free trial of Canva Pro, fantastic. So that's an affiliate link, I'm going to guess, which is great because you're getting money off of it. Okay, another quick check here. Okay, you're using your community feed on a regular basis. That's fantastic. Doing some live streams. That's good. Putting out some shorts. Fantastic. Okay, let's look at these. Okay, so a couple things. The very first is when you're using other people like this, like if you're like the instructor here and you're using other people like this, it just creates a different expectation, you know, that people might have when they click on it. So I would just experiment with putting you in thumbnails versus putting other people in thumbnails. And when you make that experiment, instead of just looking at the click-through rate, look at the click-through rate and how it leads to watch time. And the reason for that is just for the sake of making that connection between, you know, like, hey, I'm clicking on this and I'm expecting to get this person and then I get another person, right? So I would do that, and I would just look at, you know, the how people are sticking to your videos when they're expecting you instead of expecting, you know, this person. So I would definitely experiment with that as well. So if you have this looks like you're doing everything on a webcam for the videos, but if you do have, you know, like a phone where you can just go outside and take a photo, drop it into Canva, you know, cut everything out, and then just put yourself in there. You know, I would definitely experiment with that to see if you can get a more, these might be fine, but I would just experiment with it to see if the expectation that people have with when they click on it is being met when they actually get into the video itself. I used to do this kind of thing too. When I first started my YouTube channel, I would go to like all the stock websites and I would just use, you know, photos from there. So I would grab like the people out of, you know, those stock websites. And then after a while, I was like, what am I doing? Like, you know, why am I using these other people in here? And then I started using myself, you know, in there. And by using myself in there, that helped people, you know, better identify that it was me, you know, for the people that, you know, were enjoying my content. But another thing is I would also experiment with not having a person in here at all. You know, just making it more, you know, focused on like what it is that you're doing instead of having the person in here. So there's a, you know, common thing on YouTube where everybody thinks that they have to have a person in their thumbnail, but that's not the case at all. You can totally get away with having text. As a matter of fact, I've been on like tons of A/B testing lately because I'm ramping things back up on my main channel. And through that testing, I found that in some cases, people respond better to just big blocks of text, like my tools video that I'm in the process of trying to get people to respond to better. Like that particular one, the highest click-through rate as it related to watch time on that particular video. It's just a big thing. It says like YouTube tools for, you know, or tools for YouTube or, you know, something like that. So it's kind of like in alignment with what it is that you're doing here, but it's just like centered big bold text there. And that one like way outdid the other options that I tested against. I tested it against two other ones. So actually 3 other ones over time, but in the recent test, it was a test between 3 different ones. Excuse me. So I would definitely experiment with that. Download videos quickly. I think the text that you're putting on here is fine. One thing that I do want to think, you know, do want you to think about is if you are targeting YouTubers, because this thing's about how to use Canva for YouTube. And then here, make it, oh, you're making video slideshow. That works. You're okay there. You're there. You're okay there with this new quick technique. So other things that you might want to think about is like, this is okay. And this keeps you like a little bit more broad audience. So like, for example, if like anybody wants to make a video slideshow in Canva with that new quick technique, then this video, you know, is something that they can come in and watch. But since you are targeting YouTube content creators, one thing that you might want to think about is how to make a video slideshow for your YouTube videos with that. Create eye-catching custom animations for your YouTube videos in Canva or for YouTube in Canva. Canva Magic Eraser, things disappear, makes things disappear. Yeah, like this is one that's probably a little bit outside of, you know, content creators in terms of, you know, YouTubers specifically. I mean, you know, we use background erasers for thumbnails and things like that. It's just the way that it's packaged and framed. It just doesn't feel like it's for, you know, a content creator. So the whole thing when it comes to your thumbnails is, and I actually mentioned this, I'm not sure if you watched the latest video on my channel, but one of the things that you got to think about when you're making your thumbnails is, one, when you know the people that you're trying to reach with your content, you want to think to yourself, okay, if the person I'm trying to reach with this piece of content, like in your case, because you're doing this for content creators, so it'd be a YouTuber. So if somebody that I'm trying to reach, if a YouTuber sees this on a homepage, are they going to instantly know and be able to recognize without analyzing the thumbnail and title combination, because people are just glancing around looking for stuff to watch? Are they going to instantly know that that content is for them at a glance? If the answer is yes, then you're making the right call, right? But if the answer is no, then it's like, okay, well, then, you know, I'm not really getting the right people to respond to what it is that I'm doing. So because of that, in your case, before you publish, just think to yourself, if a YouTuber were to see this on their homepage, is it easy for them to identify that this content is for them? And if not, then start, you know, adding like, you know, the play buttons and, you know, those types of things to it, to just to kind of help it stand out and be for them. Another thing too, you have here, make YouTube, you know, in-card image in Canva to increase your views. So like that's cool. But one thing to think about in thumbnails, and I mentioned this in the latest video too, if you guys haven't seen that video, I'm getting a lot of really good feedback on that particular video, but I go through some of these things. Paul Peck, what's up, dude? But basically, if you look at what's going on here, you have this really colorful background, you have this person, you have a Canva logo, you have bonus views with a question mark, and then you have the YouTube logo in there. So there's a lot of stuff, right? A lot of things happening, but no real clear focus in terms of if somebody's glancing around, what's going to grab their attention. So in a lot of cases, this is front and center right here in the thumbnail. So this is probably going to grab their attention. But then from there, what do they look at next, right? So here, I wouldn't even really worry about having this in here, because you're trying to reach content creators, not necessarily, I mean, you are doing Canva users, but you're carrying that weight right here without needing to have that here in your thumbnail. So the thing you might be thinking right now is you might be thinking, you know what? I'm putting that there because if somebody's a Canva user, then in that particular case, you know, they might be able to, you know, use this in some way. One of the most valuable things, oh, thanks, Doug. One of the most valuable things, this is the one I'm talking about right here. So I'll go through that again really quick. So basically you have this, you have the big text, you have the Canva logo, you have this person plus all the, you know, bright colors in the background. And I'm not sure, like this grabs the attention, right? The play button, but then from there, it's like, where do you look, right? Your eyes go all over the place. So what you ultimately want is you want when people are, and this is the thumbnail we're talking about, when people are being presented your content, you want it to be like, this is grabbing their attention and this is where the focus goes. And when you do that, then it makes it really easy for people to identify at a glance if they are interested in what it is that you've put out. So because of that, I would lose the Canva logo from these because you have Canva down here. So if you have Canva in the text down here in the title, then in that case, I would actually just go ahead and remove the logo out of there, because it's more important that this is, you know, a clear, easy focus than it is that you know, just have all of this information that you're trying to get in there. Because the whole goal of a thumbnail is to grab people's attention so that they'll either click through the thumbnail or they'll go down to the title to see what the video is about. That's the whole purpose. So because of that, I would just kind of simplify that and, you know, just kind of think like, do I need that Canva logo on there for this video? Some of them you might. If it is, then maybe that's the thing to focus on. But I would definitely, you know, consider just kind of simplifying that aspect of it and just making it a clear focus. Even here, like this is better just based on the structure, right, of how it is. But here, since you have gradients for thumbnails, this is another one to where, you know, finally Canva gives us control with gradients for YouTube thumbnails, right? And the importance of using those words in your titles and your in your titles and your descriptions is because YouTube tells us in their in the Google Help pages and under the Creator Tips area in YouTube, they tell us that it's important to add, you know, words and keywords to your titles and your descriptions, because that gives the system a little bit more context, right? So by doing that, one thing that's going to end up happening is you're going to increase the likelihood of YouTube showing your videos to more of the right people. One thing you see people complaining about online is you'll see people saying things like, oh, YouTube's showing my content to the wrong people. I just know it, right? One of the ways that you help fine tune that system is by targeting people directly through, you know, your thumbnails and titles. So when you start putting, you know, YouTube and, you know, you already have Canva in here, so you're doing great there. But when you start putting YouTuber or for YouTubers and, you know, those types of things in your title, then for the people, one, that helps the system, but two, for the people that are watching content on, you know, YouTube and, you know, people that are, you know, putting into YouTube search stuff about, how do YouTubers do XYZ, that kind of stuff, you're increasing the likelihood of your videos showing up for those people just because you're optimizing around, around them, right? So, so because of that, just make sure you're doing those types of things. Let's see here. And I'm just going to do one more quick watch page check here. I'm going to go into this one just because it's for YouTube. So let's see here. About YouTube banners, watch this Canva tutorial. Okay, that's good. So one thing you might want to do here, I don't know how many videos you have on this. Like, this is great. Like, you're recommending a piece of content here. Let me pull this up on screen. Like here, I'm looking at our pinned comment, and you're recommending, that you go watch another video. Super smart. One thing is if you are building out some type of, YouTube banner playlist, which, by the way, I have a YouTube banner video that gets a decent amount of views on it. Like, people definitely, look for this. But for that, if you are, making multiple videos where you are, helping people to YouTube banners, then I would build a playlist around it, and then I would drive people into that playlist. Because if they're watching this trying to figure out the size, their next step, right, if they're trying to figure out how to size it right, their next step is actually making it once they figure out the size. So here, I would also get a little bit more aggressive on exactly what it is. So for example, here, they're watching the video on create perfectly sized YouTube banners with Canva, right? So the next thing you want to think about is if somebody's trying to think of how to, like what the right size, for, a YouTube banner is, then in that case, instead of, if you want to see more about YouTube banners, watch this Canva tutorial. So, the next step is to make your channel banner. I have a tutorial about that will take you step by step through it. You can watch that here, right? And then that leads to the video. Or I've got a playlist of videos that will help you, make the perfect channel banner. And then, link to that. So just getting a little bit more, assertive when it comes to your calls to actions is definitely something that I would do. And a little bit more informative there as it relates to the video that they're watching. Let's see, for Trees, you got affiliate links here. That's good. Awesome. You got StreamYard in here as well. Good. Learn Canva for YouTube. Okay, so another thing is this looks like you have the auto subscribe link there, which is fine. But I would also get more content down here that leads people into additional content. Instead of just finishing your video description here, think of all of the things that, like, if somebody was making a channel banner, then in that particular case, they would want to watch a video on like how to, do the channel banner. They'd want to watch a video maybe on like removing a background so that they could put themselves in the channel banner. Start thinking through the videos that would make sense for them to watch. And then you can put that right down here in your description and say, if you're putting a channel banner together, these videos will help you also, and then link to those videos. And by doing that, you're making all of that content as well to where it's easy for people to find, which then makes it easy for them to watch additional content, which then will help you multiply the views that you're getting on your channel. So I would definitely, consider all of those things. In terms of your titles, really just putting the YouTube, stuff in there is definitely something that I would do. But, make a video slideshow in Canva, with new quick technique. I'd put an A in there, maybe, I'm not sure. Creating eye-catching custom animations in Canva. So another thing you can do too, like when it comes to the titles themselves, is, create eye-catching custom animations in Canva. There's that, which is informational. But then, if you add like easily create eye-catching custom animations in Canva, then you add the suggestion that like, okay, this is pretty easy to do, and I'm just going to show you how to do it. And then if you're like, okay, easily create eye-catching custom animations in Canva in under, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, whatever, 4 minutes, in under 5 minutes, because that's the video. So easily create eye-catching custom animations in Canva in under 5 minutes, right? Then what you just did is you just added a lot more compellingness to your title, right? So when you're putting your titles together, just make sure that you're thinking of those types of things as well, because you have the informative nature of titles, which is great. Like, you can win. You can do awesome on YouTube just by using, the informative titles. But you can level it up if you are informative plus, you're compelling. You don't want to be sensational. You just want to be compelling, right? Because everything I said there, easily create eye-catching custom animations in Canva. That's all, in under 5 minutes. That's all legitimate. Easily because you're showing them how to do it, and through your experience, it's going to be easy because you're going to, illustrate that in the video. And then in under 5 minutes, your entire video is 4 minutes. So because of that, I mean, technically you could say in 4 minutes, right? How to create eye-catching, easily create eye-catching custom animations in Canva, or easily create custom animations in Canva in under in 4 minutes, right? And then that way, all of that is true, but it just makes your title more compelling than it just being informative. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so we're gonna do another one here. So how this works, for those of you that are just joining us, is this is free thanks to TubeSpanner. TubeSpanner, just in case you don't know, is a tool for YouTube content creators, helps you with all kinds of stuff, helps you upload your videos more efficiently. You can see that upload assistant on the right-hand side here. They have a link in bio tool to help you, interlink all your social accounts. You can see the one I use over here on the left. In addition to that, they've got a bunch of, additional tools that help you with your YouTube channel, including AI script writing, social bio links, a thumbnail builder, thumbnail previewer. That's really cool, by the way, because you can embed your thumbnail into the different pages of YouTube to see what it looks like before you publish a video to make sure that it stands out. Really awesome feature. But anyway, you can try that for yourself at tubespanner.com, or you can just go to tubespanner.com/Nick, and that gets me a little bit of credit for sending you over there too. But for those of you that are just joining us, all you have to do here, I'm getting ready to put in a hashtag. And with this hashtag, all you have to do is type it in, and then the system that I'm using here is going to, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up on screen so you can start typing it in. The system that I'm using here is going to collect all of the hashtags, right? All the channel names of the people that are, putting those in, and then it's going to randomly select somebody that put in that hashtag, and then, once it pulls up, then we'll get you on screen, and we'll see, if we can help you in some way. So now would be a great time to put that hashtag in there. Yeah, okay, they're starting to come in. Good. Man, I'm so happy. If you came over from the news, I'm so happy that the Section 230 is something that that they made the decision not to update anything about it. Absolutely love that. I was really worried because the information that I got on that was like if that were to get altered, then literally the internet as we know would have changed. But YouTube specifically, they would have had to change how they serve content to people, and like it could have been to where if if somebody like logs into YouTube, I don't know if this is the route they would have taken, but like if somebody logs into YouTube, like it might have been to where the only option would be like people just have to look for content, which would have just cut new content creators completely off there, unless the subscription feed was there, and then established creators would win there because they would have a lot of followers. But thank goodness for all of this, especially new content creators, that didn't go through. Okay, so here we go. So we're drawing this one. So here we go.
Math defined.
All right, math defined. Oh, nope, sorry.
Stevan, next level mindset.
Sorry, I jumped the gun on there. Sorry, math defined. So here, so Stevan, next level mindset. Let me pull this down and then pull up his channel here really quick. Math defined was probably like, sweet. And then we're like, oh no. Let's see here. Let's see if I can just copy this. I can copy. Let's go up here, paste, boom. All right, Stevan, we got you, man. Okay, so let's see here. So right here on his channel, personal empowerment, music motivation, firm. Okay, all this is clear. So let's go ahead and get this up on stream. All right, so first impression, personal empowerment, music and motivation. So fantastic. A couple of things that I want to talk about in terms of like a big elephant in the room I'm going to get to here in a second. I just need to confirm it before I start talking about it. So I'm going to go through your content here and see exactly what it is that you are publishing. So let's see here. As I'm scrolling down this, affirmations, short form content is popular, live streaming power tip. Should you start a new channel for shorts? Subs what? Okay, so this is videos. It looks like some YouTube related stuff, and then here you have affirmations, and then down here it looks like you have some music playing. Okay, so the big problem, I just wanted to confirm this before I said it. So a big problem that you have going on in your channel right now is that this right here is targeting people who are into affirmations. This right here is targeting people who are into social media in terms of like, TikTok and YouTube Shorts and all of that. This right here is targeting people that are into live streams. Technically, you'd have some crossover here between these two. Same here with this one and this one. But then here, the dark side of inspiration and self-empowerment, this is going to pull in people that either are really into, motivational content or inspirational content and self-empowerment content, and or people that are really against it, because there's both, camps. So the thing that I'm trying to explain here, and I'll actually color code these, is this is one audience. This right here is another audience. This right here is another audience, right? So just in your most recent videos, right, out of this particular grid of 6 videos here, you're targeting 3 wildly different types of people, okay? So the way or the reason that this works against you is, let's say that I came to your YouTube channel, right? I'm a content creator. So let's say that I'm like, oh, hey, this shorts channel video, let me watch this. And I come in and I click on this. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Really love, how he communicates, love, the information, how he shares, the stuff that he knows, really love like everything about this. I'm subscribing, right? What's going to happen is, YouTube might have recommended me this video. Maybe I watched this video as well when you published it. Maybe, I watched this when they published it. I'm like, man, this is great. We're on a roll here. Love this guy. And then you drop this, right? Right there, I put on the brakes. One, if I even notice it, right? That's number one. So first, you're in it, so maybe I would notice that it was you, but I would put on the brakes because I don't watch that type of content, right? So here, you would be serving, one group of people, but when YouTube recommends this to me, because I just watched, 3 or 4 of your most recent videos, so YouTube's like, hey, he's got another one, here you go. And I just glaze right over it. I don't even notice it because it's not about something that I care about, which then ends up hurting your click-through rate. It ends up hurting the bingeability of your YouTube channel. So on the click-through rate side, when YouTube is presenting content to people that are highly engaged in your channel and they don't respond to it, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these messages already inside of your YouTube accounts, where when you are, when you put those, let's see, need to grab the other screen here. Let me go to this one. There we go. So when you are, nope, that's not the one. There we go. Okay. So when you are, publishing videos, it's really important to have the entire channel serve a very specific type of viewer. Now, a lot of content creators look at this and they think, okay, if I do that, it's going to put me in this box, right? And that means that all these things that I want to express, I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm in this box. To an extent, that's true. However, some of the things that you're doing, you could cross it over into some of the other things that you're doing, right? So like if you are making some content creator stuff, then in that case, the affirmations could be, content creators, but that'd be a really limited audience because the qualifier is that they have to be a content creator and then they have to be into affirmations, right? So it just gets even more limited as you get deeper into it. But basically they'd have to be into those 2 things in order to qualify for an interest in, into that particular video. But the thing where everything breaks though is like, let's say that, that I also come in and I'm like, I come in from one of these jazz videos, right? And I'm like, wow, this is great jazz. And then you start showing me all of this like YouTube stuff and affirmation stuff and this dark side of, these other things. What happens is you're making it really hard for people to consume more of your content that they would enjoy. And you're making it hard for YouTube to recommend your content to the right people consistently because your channel isn't about anything or targeting anybody. Instead, it's just a bunch of stuff that doesn't have a clear focus, which makes it really hard to grow. You can grow. You can have, some videos will take off and drive a lot of traffic to those videos. However, it will end up creating a dead audience for all of the other content that you publish. So because of that, the most important thing that I can tell you is step 1, and this is something that, content creators, like everybody here should take this advice. Figure out who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. Figure out if you're trying to reach, in your case, people that are into jazz music, or if you're trying to reach content creators, or if you're trying to reach people into affirmations, or if you're trying to reach people that are into, the dark side of inspirational content, those sorts of things. I would get all of that together first because Anything else that I can tell you about like thumbnails and titles, anything that I can tell you, you know, about those types of things doesn't even matter right now, because the big glaring thing that you have is that your entire channel isn't for a specific type of viewer. So I would work on that. And the part that I was saying before about, you know, feeling like you're in a box, the whole thing with a YouTube channel is think of it like it's a channel, right? Just like if it was on, you know, TV or something, to where it's like, you know, if you go to the history channel, you usually want to see like history related content there if you're watching the history channel. If you go to my channel, you want to see something about, you know, content creator, something that'll help you as a content creator. That's why the only content that goes on my YouTube channel has something to do with being a content creator, even if it's something to where, like, you know, you see some of the like little skits I'm doing to where I'm like, you know, hey, this like tool or like whatever, like even those, even though they're corny, they're still targeting YouTube content creators, right? Every piece of content that I put out on my channel targets YouTube content creators. So because of that, it makes it really easy for the system over time to understand who the right people are to show my content to. And since I started doing that, like, you know, way back in the day, like once I started, you know, getting clear on who it was that I was serving with my content, and I started making content specifically for them, shortly after that, boom, right? I came on the map, so to speak. So so because of that, I think the biggest problem that you are currently facing, even though, you know, you're up to 324 subscribers right now, I think the problem that you're currently facing is just that it's diluted in terms of the impact for a specific audience. And that's just what I'm seeing on your channel page. Like if we go here, yeah, like here you've got a prayer one, here more affirmations, here, you know, YouTube features, you know, these types of things. So, so in my opinion, in my experience, I should say, I think that you need to, you know, think like, okay, who is it that I'm actually trying to serve here with this channel, and then make everything for them. Okay, so next on our list here, and by the way, for Canva Classroom and for you, Stevan, if you have any questions about any of the stuff I mentioned, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Anybody that I have your channel pulled up here during this live stream, by having the channel pulled up, that's like, you know, that's like, hey, if you have any questions, the door's open for you to shoot me a DM on Twitter, and I'll help you, you know, kind of navigate, you know, any of the details, you know, about anything that I recommend. Okay, so next up on our list here, we've got, let me go up here, hit refresh. If you're just joining us, what we're doing is I'm pulling up YouTube channels and I'm looking at them and giving, you know, tips on things, you know, to do to improve. So this whole thing is free thanks to TubeSpanner, which is a YouTube workflow tool. You can find out more about TubeSpanner, of course, through the link down in the video description. But as a content creator, you should be using TubeSpanner. But the hashtag, all you have to do to get your channel pulled up is put in the hashtag that I'm getting ready to show up on screen. And when you put in this hashtag, what is going to happen is this system that I'm using here from StreamYard, it's going to collect your, you know, everybody's, you know, hashtags. That's the hashtag, by the way, but it's going to collect all those hashtags. And then once it collects those, then I just hit draw, and then we pull up the next channel. So if you want to go ahead and get those hashtags in there, we will, and this one is TubeSpanner 88. All right, here they come. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, we have TubeSpanner 88 is our hashtag. If you could please enter that hashtag into the chat right now, it'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, I feel like like I'm one of those announcers. Anybody here watch Superstore on Netflix? Super corny, but really funny. I thought. I liked the announcer guy. Okay, we're up to 64. Just waiting for a few more. Make sure everybody has time to get it in there. And then here we go. Yeah, airport voice. Canva Classroom, paging Canva Classroom. Your flight is getting ready to depart. Please come to the kiosk. Okay, so here we go. Drum roll. I need to get a drum roll in here. For right now, I don't have a drum roll, so we will use. I won't do it. Okay, so Mr. Elmore's Music Lab. So we've got you up here. So let me copy your name. Where's my little, there it is. Okay, so let me copy your name here. And we will pull you up. So I'm gonna pull this down for a second while I'm pulling up your YouTube channel. And we'll see if we can give you any tips. If you're just joining us, we are pulling up YouTube channels. We are looking at them, seeing things that they can do to improve. Okay, so this looks good. So the channel that we are pulling up here is Mr. Elmore's Music Lab. See if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. Okay, so Elmore's Music Lab. Let's see here, a lab of all things music. Okay, cool. I'm into music, so that works. So I might be, part of your target audience. So one thing just to show you really quick, I don't know if you made this on your mobile device, but I'm sure you can see here on my computer how you have these like blank areas over here. Just for making everything, kind of like look nice. This isn't gonna like matter, like nobody's gonna subscribe to your channel because of this. But one thing that I would do is I would just get, that kind of that panel going all the way across. Oh yeah, you're definitely focusing, on some shorts here, but you're still, 9 days, 4 weeks, 1 month, you're still putting out the other content as well. So number one is to get more of your content on your channel page. That's just a best practice thing. The reason that you want to do that, and I'm just going to go to your videos tab here really quick to make sure that you have, a lot of content. Yeah, decent amount. So not a ton, but, a decent amount. So I would make sure that at least every one of these videos is on your channel page in a playlist. They don't have to be full flushed out playlists, but I would break them down kind of categorically. And then through that, then add them as sections onto your channel page. And the reason you want to do that is because if I come in and I watch one of your guitar tutorials and I'm like, oh, I love the way this person teaches, then in that case, I'm going to subscribe to the channel and I'll probably go explore your channel to see, what else you have. And I'll be looking, specifically for maybe more guitar tutorials or maybe, how to better understand chords or scales or, something like that. So, so just kind of taking your content and, thinking like, okay, these videos work well together if somebody were watching them. And this whole idea actually starts at like the ideation process, right? Like when you're planning out your content, like what videos am I going to publish over the next 90 days? How are these videos going to, interlink to each other? How am I going to hand off, this video to this video and this video to this video based on the viewers that are watching, video A? How am I going to get them over to video B? What is that video going to be about? Why would it matter to those people watching video A? That kind of thing. I would definitely, do that. So that you can, make those playlists for people to easily find, more of the content that they want. Another thing that I would definitely do here is I would change what you're doing with your thumbnails. So these panels are definitely attention grabbing, right? So like if this were to show up on a homepage, like it's going to pull attention to it. But I think that this would make I think you could represent yourself better in these thumbnails. So like, for example, here you have like how to sound original on the guitar. So that's fine. And, having that big thing of text up there is fine. But one thing that I would do is I would put more emphasis on like, you playing the guitar or the guitar itself. And the reason for that is because like, if you go to YouTube's homepage, right? That's why you see this thumbnail, right? YouTube channel reviews, really big, right? For this stream that you're watching right now. The reason I do that is because, if this shows up on a YouTuber's homepage, it's the YouTube logo is going to grab their attention. If they're familiar with me, then they'll be like, oh, that's Nick. What's he doing over on that channel? And then, they're going to see that it's channel reviews. I got the little yellow stars to pull attention, and it's complementary to the blue that I'm using in the background. So it helps those stars pop. Like that's the whole idea with what it is that I'm doing there. And then here, YouTube channel reviews to help you grow on YouTube, right? So then I'm also tapping into the thing that YouTube content creators want. So, because of that, this whole thing is optimized to grab attention first and then drop you down and then, drop your eyes down to the title and then hopefully pull you in there. But if you look at YouTube's homepage and you look at the stuff that's, getting views here, like everything for the most part, not everything, but most things are really simple, right? Like this one's a little bit busy here. From Music Tech Help Guy. But as a Logic Pro user, by using the Logic Pro logo and having the ultimate guide to Logic Pro there, it really stands out. The thing that's working against them is that number 63. I would never click on that personally because that 63 to me represents that there's a bunch more things that I need to know before I get to this particular video. So me, as somebody that watches that content, I wouldn't do that, right? I wouldn't actually click on that video. But as we scroll down, you can just see, in terms of simplicity, right? Like you can see here with like Sean, what they're doing over at Think Media, you know, before, after, you know, a face on here to grab attention. You got stats going up in the background with it's like all green to grab people's attention. You have Ryan Benjamin over here, the blue background here, million views after trending sounds, you know, these types of things. But everything, like as we're scrolling, almost everything is relatively simple, right? And then in contrast, if we go back to your channel, you can see here that even though the panels grab attention, there's like a lot going on. You've got like your little dude, your little mascot guy down there. You have you in here. You've got your guitar. You're like drinking stuff. You've got, you know, a bunch of text on here. So it's fun, right? Super fun. But I think that you could better represent what it is that you're doing by just using like a photograph. I think that would go farther than what it is that you're doing here. So, hey, no worries at all. Like, that's why I do this. So Mr. Elmore's Music Lab says, I'm so new, I've really no idea what to do with the thumbs. Love the simplicity idea. Yeah, that's the whole reason we do these streams is, you know, for this reason. So, so don't sweat it, you know, in terms of being new. Like we all go through the things that I'm telling you right now. Like everybody here that's in the chat, like everybody's went through this. So, like what you want to do, like this right here, right? That shot, you could probably screenshot that, and like that by itself could be the thumbnail. So what I recommend to you is to go through some of your thumbnails, right? Because you don't want to just commit to this. You want to test it and see, you know, if you get a better result. But what I would do is I would go through like, you know, a nice batch of like your most recent videos where they're doing this sort of thing where things are all over the place. And I would experiment, save these to your computer so you can see, you know, if there was a change. But I would go through and I would start playing with like imagery like this, right? Things like that. I wouldn't do this. I would make sure that a guitar is large and prominent in the shot, right? Even this is too small, I think. Technically, if you were to cut yourself out here and then put like a little bit of text right over here, then that would be enough. But I would not put a panel like this in the background. Instead, I would like cut yourself out, maybe fade what it is that you see here. And you can do all this in like Canva, you know, for example, or, you know, Photoshop or anything like that. But basically cutting yourself out here, and then putting this as kind of like a faded thing in the background, or maybe putting some type of like really light color over it, but just some type of separation between you and the background, and then a little bit of text, you know, on top of that. And, you know, by that, then you at least have the guitar in there. But I would try to make the guitar a little bit more prominent. But one thing that you'll see a lot of people do, I do this myself too, is as your YouTube channel grows, you're going to have more and more people knowing who you are. So that's when you start thinking like, okay, now that I have this audience, now I'm going to start putting, you know, making sure that I'm not just using an image like this, but instead maybe I'm going to use an image like that, but make sure that my face is also in there somewhere as well so people can recognize me, right? But for right now, I would do tons of experimentation on just different, you know, things that you're doing with your thumbnails in terms of just the images that you're using in order to, you know, grab attention. Other things as well, like here you have use these C major triads to sound amazing. Like here, you could also do this by just putting the, you know, scales or the, you know, images that you have right there by just making those large, right? So you have like a 3-panel thumbnail. And then what I mean by that is your thumbnail's broken into like 3 different, you know, sections vertically. And then you just have like one there, and then one there, right? And I would just experiment with doing those types of things to see if you get a higher click-through rate compared to what it is that you're doing now. Because, and I'm going to be transparent with you here because, you know, if I wasn't, you know, just being upfront with you, then I wouldn't, you know, be adding value to you. So as somebody that watches this type of content, because I've got a guitar over here, like I'm, you know, like I casually try to learn how to play the guitar. I do mostly digital stuff. So because of that, I'm watching more like Logic tutorials than I am guitar, but I still watch, you know, guitar tutorials. For me, I wouldn't click on this because the way the thumbnails are set up, it actually cheapens what I would expect from your content. So, and again, I don't mean that in any offensive way because I know you're new and you're like just getting started, but like the way that you're currently doing your thumbnails, I would expect a bad video to be behind these thumbnails. So that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on like, okay, right now, just focus on like, you know, putting good pictures in there. And then that way you'll be able to start seeing like, okay, how are people responding to these pictures? Is there anything that I can do to help this picture pop instead of like, I'm just putting a bunch of stuff in the thumbnail, right? And you could also do stuff to where you experiment like, hey, here's the picture, right? Like, let's say, for example, you do something like this, or you do the thing, where was that one? Yeah, or you do something like this. You can also experiment to where it's like, hey, here's me and the guitar, and then I'm just going to put play rhythm guitar in text just right over here, like on the right-hand side, right? But the whole idea when it comes to thumbnails, and this is for everybody here, like if you're new to YouTube, make sure that you're really paying attention to this. When it comes to thumbnails, the whole job of the thumbnail is you want to imagine if the person that you're trying to reach with your content, which in your case is people that are trying to learn how to play the guitar. So if somebody that's trying to learn how to play the guitar logs onto YouTube and they've been looking around, they've been searching YouTube and they've been responding to videos where it's about learning how to play guitar, then you are likely to get recommended to some of those people. So what's going to happen is when YouTube recommends your content to those people, you need those people to be able to quickly at a glance be able to identify that your video is about something that they're interested in. So the whole idea with the thumbnail is to make it just explicitly obvious what the content is about, so that you can, in terms of like a starting point, right? You can be, compelling with thumbnails too, but that starting point is like, okay, how can I just make it clear to the people that I'm trying to reach what this is about? So in your case, the way to do that is by using guitar imagery in your thumbnails. So I would get to work on that. And I would get to that, and I would try to just use the images, because, and you say right here, you're like, such a bummer, people wouldn't click due to the thumb. The content is excellent, and that's the whole thing. That's why I said before, like, you could probably represent yourself better through the thumbnails, because when I look at this, like, you're sitting here, I see like you're zooming in and out of stuff. You got like good shots of the guitar so people can clearly see what it is that you're doing. I'm not sure what the audio sounds like, but you're a musician, so I'm sure the audio is probably fine. But like everything is like well lit to where they can easily see what it is that you're playing and all of that. So I believe you that the content is good content, like once they click on it. But I think that, one of the big problems that you might be having right now, I'm not even going to call it a problem, but one of the hurdles that you need to get over is just to make the thumbnails to where it's just something that is super easy for people to recognize that it's something about guitars, but it also looks okay. And then by doing that, that's going to increase the accessibility to the awesome content that you're making, right? So I would start working on that right away. The next thing, hold on, how to create awesome guitar parts at the major scale, that's fine. How to play C major triads, that's fine. Learning how to play guitar is not easy. So one thing to think about when you're writing titles like this is put an alternative. So like learning how to play guitar is not easy. This will help you, this will make it easier for you, or, something like that after that. So then that way it's like, hey, learning to play the guitar, is not easy, but this will make it easy for you. So then that way you're creating some type of promise for people, or some type of expectation for when they click on the video. Because right now, when you look at this, it says learning how to play the guitar is not easy. So there's no real promise there. It's just like a statement. So since it's a statement, sure, somebody can click into it to just get your opinion on like why you think that, but there's no real reason to click on it, right? Because you're just saying right here, learning how to play guitar is not easy. There's like nothing else. Like there's nothing compelling. So because of that, I would definitely, work on your titles. So I put out a video on my main channel. Nick Nimmin is my name, by the way. I'm not sure if you watch my other content or not. You might just be, watching me here. But if you go to my main channel, I have a video. It's like 18 minutes long, and I actually talk about some of these concepts. I show like examples and stuff. I really recommend that you check that out, because it'll hammer some of these ideas home with the examples that I show and stuff. But here, like, why do you think, guitar is hard? Again, this is like, not really like an expectation that you're creating. So like one of the things that's really important is when you're packaging up your content, that's what we call that when you're thinking of like the topic, when you're thinking of the thumbnail and you're thinking of the title, or you make those, that's your packaging for your video. But the thing is you need to add, information and or some type of compellingness to it, and the reason for that is that creates an expectation of what somebody might get if they actually click on that content. So I would make those adjustments too. Same thing here, guitar finger picking 101. Guitar finger picking 101 dash or bar, either one. How to become, an excellent guitar picker, or, something like that. So then by doing that, it's like, hey, guitar finger picking 101, maybe that's your series, something like that. If it is a series, you'd put it at the back technically. But then you have, that additional context of what it is that they would get out of there, right? which the 101 kind of illustrates that you're teaching them, so that's fine. But I would definitely hammer that one home a little bit better. But yeah, like I think I haven't experienced your actual content, but in terms of like how it looks here when I do the hover play, like it looks like what it is that you're doing is good. I think that you just need to work on the accessibility to get people in to experience the good content, because the big hurdle that we have on YouTube is you can make the best video in the world, but if you make that best video but nobody clicks on it, then nobody's ever going to know it's the best video in the world, right? so because of that, like one of the most important metrics, and that video that I was talking about on my channel, the 18-minute, when it talks about the 3 things to focus on as a content creator to end up ultimately winning on YouTube or getting whatever it is that you're doing your YouTube channel for, that whole video is about just 3 things. If you focus on those, there's tons of additional nuance, but if you focus on getting really good at those 3 things, then that will help you. And the whole things, it just goes into detail, is learning how to get people to click, learning how to get people to enjoy your content, and then learning how to get people to engage further in terms of watching additional content, coming back to the channel, those types of things. So I would definitely get, all of that stuff together when it comes to that. And since you are just getting started, I'm actually going to go just a little bit more here on this. So the next thing is when somebody first comes into your video, you want to hit them with content. So right here it says how to create awesome guitar parts on the major scale. Instead of having the logo here, which makes it look like, I would actually go into YouTube's editor and I would cut this out. You can do this inside of YouTube, but what this looks like is I'm getting ready to watch a video that somebody uploaded on their phone improperly to YouTube. Like they had a vertical video and they uploaded it into YouTube as a horizontal video. That's what it looks like I'm getting ready to experience. If I, as somebody that would watch your content, if I were to click on your video and this is the first thing that I see, and how long does this last for? 2 seconds. If that's the first thing that I see, if I could react within 2 seconds, which I probably could, as well as the viewers that are interacting with your content, I would have left the video before it even got to you, just because of this right here. So if you're putting that in all of your videos, I would take that out as well. And when your video first starts, just let people know what it is that you're going to be sharing with them. I'm not sure in terms of exactly what it is that you're saying here because I have the volume turned off, but it's fine to do these types of things where you're, out here, you're standing there and you're like, hey, I'm out here, in my yard and, I was thinking about, these chords and blah, blah, and you start telling the story about, why it is that you're going to be teaching them, what it is you're going to teach them. That kind of stuff is fine. As long as you find that people are responding well in your audience retention reports, but you want to get away from things that might cause people to end up clicking away. Okay, you're setting up here. That's good. Also, like right now, not a huge deal, but also get into the practice of making sure that you're pinning comments that lead people into additional content. So in your case, what I would be thinking about right now, since you're, just getting the ball rolling here, is I would think, okay, on my channel, I'm going to create like all of my videos are going to be in series because you're doing instructional content. So it's like this series is going to be on like scales. This series is going to be on chords. This one's going to be on finger picking. This one's going to be on this. This one's going to be on like setting up your guitar and tuning your guitar. This one's going to be on this, and start kind of mapping those out for like the long term so that you can start thinking like, okay, this video is going to be a part of this playlist. So because of that, then in this case, how to create awesome guitar parts with the major scale. Then here you can say, hey, if you enjoyed this video, I have an entire playlist that teaches you, how to do all these different things, with a guitar, whatever. Click into that here, and then that's going to also help, people be able to binge watch your content a little bit easier. So you want to do those sorts of things as well. All this is fine. Oh, you're already linking to Amazon. This is great. Okay, so I love that you already have monetization things in here. So super smart to do that, as you're getting started, because as your channel grows, your income can grow right along with it. So one thing though that you want to make sure that you do is, as an Amazon associate, they have very specific language that you have to add to your video excuse me, that you have to add to your video descriptions. It's an affiliate disclaimer. If you go to Google and you type in Amazon affiliate disclaimer or Amazon partner affiliate disclaimer, then you're going to get that information. So what you want to do is you want to take that affiliate disclaimer and you want to put it into all the descriptions where you're promoting Amazon. And the reason for that is if, let's say this video blows up or some of your videos blow up and you start driving a lot of sales to Amazon, they're going to come and look. And when they come and look, if you don't have that disclaimer in there, you can actually lose your affiliate account, which can end up costing you a substantial amount of money once you get everything rolling. So, so because of that, I would definitely get the affiliate disclaimer in here as well. So one of the things that's really cool, since we're here on the TubeSpanner channel, so this thing on the right over here, it's an upload assistant. So with this, one of the things that you can do in here with the upload assistant is you can actually add what's called like smart tokens. And with those smart tokens, what it does is it lets you be able to like quickly inject things into your video descriptions. So if you are, you know, a TubeSpanner user, or if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Here, I can actually show you here. I think, yeah. You also get animated milestones, by the way. But yeah, so like the upload assistant, this is where this sort of thing would help you. Is like basically like, let's say that you write your description, so you can have like full descriptions anyway. But like one of the things that you can do is like, let's see here, I have it in here. Yeah, like here, I put my affiliate disclaimer as one of my tokens. So if I make a video that has like an Amazon link specifically, then I just click on that button and it goes ahead and puts it into my video description, right? So you can just speed through video descriptions with this, you know, doing that same exact thing. But you can try that, you know, TubeSpanner. But anyway, the whole idea that I'm trying to express is like, you know, one, you need that in there. Two, the next thing that I want you to think about is when it comes to your video description, just like your pinned comment right here, the whole thing that you want to think about and you kind of want to map out when it comes to your channel is if somebody's watching this video, what would be the next logical step for those people? And then you want to put it everywhere. So that means linking to it in your end screen, which you're already doing. That means putting a pinned comment here, recommending that they go watch something else. And that means also putting additional video links in your description with text on top of those, letting people know exactly what those are. So like, you know, hey, this video will help you with chords. This video will help you with scales. This video will help you with like progressions. This video will help you with, you know, tuning your guitar, you know, whatever. And you can either customize that per video or get a block together on the things that people, you know, the most common problems or things that people try to overcome when it comes to playing guitar. And then you want to, you know, make sure that you add those into your video description as well. And all that's doing, like, that's not like some like, you know, like trick or anything. All you're doing there is you're just making it easy for people to find more of the content that they enjoy from you. That's it. But by doing that, you end up amplifying your views over time inside of your own channel. So in addition to getting traffic from YouTube homepages, from YouTube subscription feed, from suggested videos, from YouTube search, you also become your own suggested traffic source, which is really cool. So just make sure that you set all those things up. And in your case too, if you have any questions about any of that stuff, because I'm going to move on to another channel because we've got, you know, a few more of these to get through. But like, if you have any questions about any of those things that I talked about, if you have a Twitter account, just DM me. If you don't, just make one. But just send me a DM and just let me know in the DM that I looked at your channel here on the for the TubeSpanner reviews, and then I can add any clarity to any questions you have about anything that I mentioned. But I do recommend that you check out the that 18-minute video that I put out. It's the last video, not the live stream, but the last video that I put out on my channel, that it goes, you know, with examples, you know, into more context of what I was talking about there. Let's see here. So next up on our list. So if you're just joining us, what we are doing is we are doing YouTube channel reviews. So this is 100% free thanks to TubeSpanner, tubespanner.com. and all you have to do to participate, again, because this is free, is put in the hashtag that we, you know, mention right here in just a second. And once that hashtag is in there, the system that I'm using to collect these is going to just randomly, you know, pick one. So if you want your channel pulled up and you want some, some recommendations like we just gave here to Mr. Elmore, then put in that hashtag and we'll see what we can do. Paging YouTube content creators who want their channels pulled up here on the stream today, and they want to get some for some free tips. If you want to get some free tips, go ahead and put that hashtag in the chat box right now, so we can see if we can get your channel pulled up here on the channel here today. Yeah, I like those sound effects. Super fun. Okay, so let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw it. Here we go. And I'm going to try not to jump the gun on this one too, because last time I was like, hey, it's this person, and then it changed. All right, Chad Oliver. You got it, Chad. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to pull this down for a second while I pull Chad's channel up here. Love your beard, dude. Love it, love it, love it, love it. I would love to have a beard like that, but I just don't have the courage to do it yet. I will in the future, but as of right now, I just don't have that. I just don't have the courage. Let's see here. So let me go here. Let me paste this. Love that beard. Okay, let's see. All right, so I'm going to pull this up here. So boom. Okay, so we got whiskey, EDC, and grooming. So let's see here. As we scroll on the channel, welcome. You found the channel for you. Man stuff. Hello, my name is. Okay, so this is another one of those cases where you want to use this area that YouTube is giving you. Cover that up there for family friendly. But you want to use this area right here that YouTube is giving you to just add some context. So right now, before they added this here, this wasn't as important. But since they have this here now, you want to just go in, everybody here, you want to go in and just kind of look at what yours says. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is looking on a mobile device. Because what people see on a mobile device, a majority of the traffic on YouTube comes from mobile phones. So what you need to do is you need to just go to your channel on a mobile device, and you'll see that little blurb, and just think like, okay, if my ideal viewer were to land on my channel page after watching one video, or somebody sharing my channel with them, and then they just, land and come in on my channel, then what can I tell them right here to give them some context in terms of the value that they are going to get from my YouTube channel? So I would do that. That's not going to make your channel blow up or anything. It's just that little, minor detail to add some clarity. Let's see here. Unboxing, beer brand, luxurious grooming experience, whiskey truths, what you need to know about allocated whiskeys. Okay, so in your case, right now, one thing that I see, actually a couple things. So the very first is, I'm not sure if you have more actual video content. Yeah, you do. So the very first is get more of your video content onto your channel page. And how you do that is you basically just put your videos into playlists based on, things that people come to you for. So for example, in your case, if you have, cause you're doing like whiskey, you have grooming and you have EDC. I'm not sure what EDC is. But if you have, like these two, then you could say like, hey, here's all my stuff on this type of whiskey. Here's all my videos on this type of whiskey. Here's my grooming videos, or just my beard grooming videos, or just my head grooming videos, or like whatever the thing is. And just start breaking them down that way based on the things that people come to you for. And then make sure you add those as sections to your channel page. And the whole idea is just making the viewer experience easier. So what that does is, let's say somebody watches this video, they click on your username. Here, we'll just go through the journey. So let's say YouTube presented this video to me on my homepage and I clicked on it. Then I come into here and I land here and I watch your video and I'm like, man, this is great. This guy, love his whole setup here, love his vibe, the whole thing. I totally dig this. I'm going to click on his channel name, see what else he has to offer. And then I land here, right? Next thing I do is I'm either going to click on your videos tab, or maybe one of these other ones if I'm into that type of content, or I'm going to be the type of viewer that just scrolls down your channel page looking for content. If I'm the viewer that clicks on the videos tab, no problem. YouTube has you covered there. They do it automatically. If it's somebody that scrolls down to find content, then in that case, you are alienating those viewers and you're making it harder for them to find more of the content from you that they can enjoy. So because of that, just make sure you are putting your content into playlists, adding some of those playlists as sections to your channel page, so that, the people that are coming in can just find more of what they want faster. Because one of the downsides of going to a videos tab to find content is you can see here, everything's mixed up, right? So you have like your watch here, you have whiskey here, you got your knife stuff here. So you have to like dig around to find what it is that you want to watch, instead of just being able to go like, okay, oh, wow, this is a whole thing on like whiskey, and then being able to watch that whole thing, right? So, so because of that, I would definitely do that quickly. I would also move these. I would just take these out of here for right now, until you get your playlist, together in a way that makes, a little bit more sense. Cause here you have like, I mean, you're kind of doing it, I guess, cause you have EDC Sunday. Barrel Talk, not sure what that is. But like with the men's grooming playlist, I think that's fine to just go ahead and add that to your channel page. It's only one video right now, but at least it's the start in the playlist. Maybe you can add some more to that. Oh, everyday carry. That's what the EDC stands for. Got it. Okay. The knife gave it away. So then here, like, your everyday carry, playlist would be another one. At the very least, get those in there. So like have one playlist that's whiskey, another one's everyday carry, and then another one that is, what was it here? Grooming. At the very least, get those 3 in there, and then, build on the rest, as you go along. But I would get this shorts. If you even want to keep it on your channel page at all, that's optional. But if you do want to keep this on your channel page, I would get it to the very bottom. And the reason for that is for here, like if somebody lands on your channel page, then they're probably coming in through one of your other pieces of content, or your video has been shared out. So because of that, you want to feed them as much into this long form content as you possibly can, because right now you're at 745 subscribers. So you're trying to get that 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. The easiest way to do that is with the long form content. So because of that, I would prioritize that longer content on your channel page. So if people hit it on a computer, if they hit it on a mobile device, whatever, then all of the content on your channel they're being presented with is your long form, which will help you accumulate that watch time faster, right? And then if they want your shorts, they can just click on the short shelf and go there. Let's see here. So just as a heads up, this hashtag, even though it's clever, I'd be really careful with things like this, because these types of things, regardless of our personal opinions on them, right? Like we are, on a platform, and since we're on that platform, sometimes things like this can cause videos to go into restricted mode. Some of the things that you're already talking about, like, whiskey as an example, like that one still might put you in restricted mode a little bit. But what restricted mode is it's where they limit your content to kids, which is what you want, obviously, in your case. But they also limit your content to where only logged in viewers can see the content. And they have to have restricted mode turned off. So by default, it's off. But some people will turn restricted mode on because they only want, certain types of content. So you're just missing the opportunity to reach those people. But more importantly, you're missing the opportunity to reach people that are not logged in to YouTube. So because of that, I would definitely, just consider that. I know it's your hashtag, but I would try to find like another way to frame that or something to where it wouldn't have that type of language in it, because that might end up working against you down the road if you end up getting put in restricted mode. Things you should never say. My newest episode of Whiskey, I'll let you know the top 10 things, not to say whiskey enthusiasts plus a few bonus things, what makes them. Okay, so another thing as well, and everybody should be doing this also, is when you are writing your descriptions, one of the things that YouTube recommends is they recommend that you add a description or a paragraph or two to your descriptions. Instead of just having like one line of text here. Like usually like a lot of bigger channels and stuff, you'll see them doing this sort of thing, but keep in mind, YouTube already has tons of data on them in terms of who to show the content to. So one of the things that YouTube recommends, and you're already doing it here, so you're getting it there, especially with whiskey enthusiasts, like those things you're good, but you also want to make sure that you're just filling out a description that has keyword rich language, but it's written in a natural, communicating way. And by doing that, it just helps the system in terms of YouTube's algorithm. It helps their system just have a little bit more clarity on what your videos are about. And the better you can do that, the better it helps their system know exactly who to show your content to. So because of that, the things that carry the most weight there is your title and what happens in the video, but descriptions are also taken into context there, so you want to make sure that you're filling those out too. Let's see here. You've got stuff going to your brand. So here for other related videos, you can see how these are getting cut off right here. So we can see, whiskey, rye, and then that's probably going to be bourbon. And then we got proof versus ABV, and then testing notes. But you don't have like any real information here. So because of that, what you might want to do is for these, actually spell it out in terms of what it is they're going to get, and then put the link, after that. So then YouTube will do this, and then same exact thing here, where you spell that one out and you spell that one out, and you put a space between like each group. So you have, the title and then the link and then a space and then a title and the link and the space, and it just adds a little bit more clarity for the sake of accessibility when you're trying to get people to watch more of your content. Fantastic. Yeah, you're in that same you're in the same boat with the Amazon affiliate program. So right now you have the affiliate links here to where you're putting that disclaimer there. So per the FTC requirement, you got that one covered. But you also have to put the specific language for Amazon in there too. So same thing. So if you just go and you type in Amazon Associates affiliate disclaimer, then you'll find the specific wording that you need to add there. And the reason you want to do that is because you risk losing your account if you do not have that disclaimer in there. And right now, you're not on the radar, but if you end up driving a lot of sales, then it's going to become increasingly more risky. So you just want to get into the habit of that so that if you like run into issues or things start going really well, you don't start thinking like, oh, wait a minute, I got like 300 videos that I have to update the video descriptions and add this thing to it, right? So you just want to kind of get into those habits now. Okay, now let's get into the serious stuff. Okay, unboxing Beard Brand, a luxurious grooming experience. Okay, so something to think about here. One, since this is a wide format video, I would make it wide format, just like this one. So currently it's 1 minute and 26 seconds, which means it's not going to show up in the shorts shelf. So because of that, I would make sure that you are making, ratio appropriate videos for your channel, because people will click away from this stuff if they come into it and it's, not, what they expect. In some cases, they won't even click on it, like if they get the thumbnail like hover. So I would definitely make sure that you are uploading, just aspect ratio appropriate for these longer videos. In addition to that, you have unboxing Beard Brand, a luxurious grooming experience. So this is cool, right? In terms of like, hey, I'm unboxing this. But keep in mind, in order for this to be accessible for someone and important to someone, they have to know what Beard Brand is. And here you have that it's a luxurious grooming experience, but there's no like real context, right? Like for this, like they would have to care about Beard Brand in order for that to even matter to anybody. Which is fine, and that's great if it's like, unboxing Beard Brand or Beard Brand unboxing and you're trying to get that video to show up in YouTube search, fine. But if you're trying to get attention from the homepage and suggested videos, one thing that I would do in your case specifically because of your appearance is because of that magnificent beard that you have and that I'm envious of, I would put your picture for anything like that you are bringing attention to. So basically it would be like the utility bomb, have that on one side, and then have like a cutout picture of you on the other side. Because what that picture of you is going to do is when somebody is scrolling through YouTube on their mobile device and they're just sitting here, scrolling through looking at stuff, you with your beard is going to grab the attention of other people that have, beards. Just like that was like the first thing I noticed, right? I'm like, oh, love the beard, right? That was like the first thing I noticed. So, so it's going to help people, just identify that, and then it's going to make that connection, right? Like, oh, okay, maybe this has something to do with beards. And they're going to at least give it, a little bit more consideration. So I would definitely start doing that for these types of shots. But I like how you're featuring the product for those people. It's a win. But I think that it's alienating, a large group of people. When you're going specifically for YouTube search, it's not as big of a deal. But like when you're trying to get all of the traffic sources to bring you traffic, then you have to make sure that you are thinking like, okay, if somebody logs onto YouTube, how are the, how can I actually had a big, long conversation with somebody today, about this. So if somebody logs into YouTube, like how can I make this video as accessible as possible for as many people as possible that YouTube might recommend this content to? So the example that I typically give for this, that I was giving that person earlier, is like, there's something called an ATEM Mini. And I'm going to get back to your channel right here in a second, but there's something called an ATEM Mini. It's a live streaming device. And with this live streaming device, I'm just explaining the difference between going for search and going for YouTube's recommendation features, where, a majority of the traffic is, at least the fast traffic, right? The stuff that helps you grow faster. So the difference is, if we're going for YouTube search and we had the ATEM Mini, then in that case, all of this, by the way, starts before you even make your video, right? Thinking of all these things before you even start your video. So basically, if I have the ATEM Mini, then in that particular case, if I was trying to bring attention to it so that I could promote it as an affiliate, then in that case, topically, maybe the video for YouTube search would be something about a review or like how to set it up or something like that for people that are looking for information about it. The review, if you're trying to get, sales, but the setup would also be for people that, maybe are considering it. They're wanting to see how complicated it is, where you might be able to make some sales there too. But for those, it would be like, ATEM mini review, things to know before you buy, right? Then if people are looking for information on that in YouTube search, then they're likely to get recommended that video on their home pages as well, where you can get traffic there. But the real place where that video is probably going to end up performing the best is going to be in YouTube search. And that is going to be because people are looking for those reviews, right? So then you make that content specifically for that, and then you make it compelling with the things to know before you buy, so that if it does show it to people that have been looking for that or watching content about it, and they get presented with that, then it's that red flag for them that causes them to come in and click on it. So that's how you actually tap into the homepage while targeting YouTube search as well. But to make that even better, what you would do in that same scenario is if you have that same ATEM mini, in order for somebody to qualify to watch that video, they have to already know what the ATEM mini is, right? Which, again, it's a live streaming device. So they have to know what the ATEM mini is, and they have to already be interested about it in some way in order for that video to even matter to them. So because of that, just an ATEM mini review, if that was just the title, then, you probably won't get much traffic from recommendation systems, but you'd probably do, okay in search. However, if you're like, okay, I have the same device and I'm going to make another video, and that video is going to be targeted for recommendations. So what you do there is you run through the mental exercise of, okay, how can I make this as accessible to as many people that would possibly, be interested in this as possible? So the way that you would frame that particular video when you're trying to go for YouTube's recommendation systems is you would say, this device changed the way that I live stream. Or this device made my live streams, 10 times better, or something like that. Or you could say this ATEM mini device, so then you can get the keyword in there, made my live streams, 10 times better. And what happens there is instantly people don't have to know what the ATEM mini is. They just have to be a live streamer at that point in time, right? So what you just did is you had your audience of people that have to know about the ATEM mini in order to click on that video. Now you just open it up to a much bigger group of people. Now, anybody that live streams on any platform on planet Earth can now watch that video that you published on how this video, changed the way that you live stream, right? So the whole idea is when you're going for, YouTube recommendations, you want to think like broad and wide. And then when you're going for YouTube search, like with your unboxings and stuff, that's where you want to think about like just being super specific around the things that people are looking for with that particular product. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so as we keep going here, let me pull let me get it up here a little bit bigger. The format of your videos, same thing here, with those spots being cut off there on the video, because you have it marked as a short, but due to the timestamp, it's not a short. So in this particular one thing that I would do to this right away is I would go in and I'd put like a regular thumbnail on here. I would remove short here from the title, because in order for a short to qualify as a short on YouTube, it has to be 60 seconds or less. Really, the safe zone is like 58 and 59 seconds, because sometimes it'll add an extra second for whatever dumb reason. So you want to make sure that you are planning for that and make them like 58 to 59 seconds. Is all this making sense for everybody? If you're hanging out right now, just say yes in the chat. Just so I know this is all making sense. All this crazy stuff I'm talking about. And then you have here lazy day short. Same thing. It's a long video. So because of that, and by long I just mean that it's regular horizontal format. It's just a regular video. So this is another one to where if you spent more time on the thumbnail thinking about like, okay, if I'm trying to reach people that are interested in the things that I'm talking about, what could I feature in the thumbnail that would just help them be able, okay, good, thanks for the feedback. That would be able to help them identify that this is something that, that they might care about. Because here, just lazy day, no real context, no real value that somebody would get out of that video in terms of what they might expect from the outside. And when you're packaging up your videos, the whole idea is that you want to build that expectation so that when they click on the video, then they already have an expectation of what it is that they're going to get, so they can come in and enjoy the content that you're making. So here I would like feature, you know, a specific thing. Here, I think this is a solid thumbnail because you do have the, you know, the drinks in the back. But it is kind of, this one doesn't really stand out that much. So I would definitely, you know, work on those types of things as well in terms of like, okay, I'm trying to make, if I'm focusing on this bottle, I need to make sure that bottle's in focus. I need to make sure that it like really stands out in the thumbnail. But I mean, that's okay. Like what you're doing here with just the image, fine. But I'm just saying like, you know, just make sure there's a clear focus, which there is, that the red one in the middle. It's just not very clear in terms of seeing it, you know, kind of at this small size. High proof whiskey, what you need to know. Yeah, all those are good. Yeah, I love this one right here with the knife. Roach, pocket-sized knife with big capabilities. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you know, this is another one, right, to where you're being specific about the product, where if you're selling it in a review capacity, then in that case, it makes sense. But here, like, you know, this knife, you know, will cut through anything. That is one that opens it up to, you know, a lot more people, right? Or this everyday carry knife. So then that way, you know, you're getting into, you know, you're putting those words in there to increase, you know, the likelihood of YouTube recommending your content to those people that are looking at that type of content. This everyday carry knife, you know, will cut through anything, or, you know, you want to make it truthful, right? So like, you know, this everyday carry knife blew me away, or, you know, is super handy, or, you know, whatever. You know, the language behind that in terms of, you know, like the, you know, how to make that have impact for your audience. So I would just be thinking about things like that when you're writing your titles. And when you do that, it's going to give you more broad appeal instead of people having to know exactly about that product. Love the setup shot that you did there. But in this one, this is another one to where I would just zoom in on the actual knife more here. But I think with like how you're doing this stuff and like how your set looks and all that stuff and you and all that, like I think like, you know, I think that like the presentation and all that stuff, like this is all good. And I love like what you're doing with the lighting, how you have like some light hitting you, but then you've got all this stuff going on in the background too. Like I really like how you're putting all this together. But I just think that like with your titles, you could give yourself more opportunity. And I think with your thumbnails, with some of them, that you could, you know, optimize those a little bit better as well, just to give yourself, you know, a much greater chance at getting people to identify and click on what it is that you are, what it is that you're making. Okay, this is a 15-minute video a year ago. Did I watch this? Heck, maybe I watched this. I'm not sure. Or maybe I went in here and went to your end screen something. I'm not sure. But yeah, I might have watched this video, man. Oh, nice. Be creative, inspire, explore. I don't drink, but you know, but I've watched this at some point. Let's see here. Yeah. So some of these are some old videos. So I'm just going to focus on some of this newer stuff. But like what you're doing with YouTube Shorts, this is another one to where like you're doing whiskey facts. One thing to consider is, since you are doing like whiskey facts, is when it comes to YouTube Shorts, of course, the videos just show up in the feed. But when they show up in the feed, you also have people looking at the titles there as well. So instead of just like Whiskey Fact 6, like challenging people, like, you know, things you didn't know about whiskey, you know, 7, right? Things you know about whiskey 8, you know, things you didn't know about whiskey 6. Those types of things just make it more of a challenge. Instead of it just being like, hey, this is just whiskey facts, now I'm challenging you to where you need to watch this in order to see if I'm correct or not, right? So even in your YouTube Shorts, you know, you can use some title work there to make those a little bit more compelling. Another thing that I would do, really, for the people that you're trying to reach, and the reason you want to do this, let's see if, hold on, let me go over to here. I'm just going to see if they're going to show me any of my homepage right now. Yeah, okay. So if you look right here at my homepage, you see all these shorts right here, and then you see all of the very specific, you know, images that we're looking at. So if somebody was into whiskey and your short showed up here, you're not going to pull them in. Maybe if they see your face and that grabs their attention, and then they look down here, then maybe you'll pull them in that way. But because of this feature right here on YouTube, what I recommend that you do specifically is Doug's like, hey, wait, that's me. It is Doug. But one thing that I would do specifically in your case is I would have in all of your shorts that you make and you might be doing this already, but I would make sure that you have a shot of whiskey that's on screen for just like, you know, a few seconds. And the reason for that is because at the time of upload now, YouTube allows you on Android devices and on Apple devices they now allow you to be able to select a specific thumbnail on the way in. So in this case with the series where you can't do it after the fact, unfortunately, so these are already a loss, but for the new ones that you do, you'll be able to select that shot where you can pick whiskey, right? So where you can say like, okay, this part in the video, this is where the whiskey is. I'm going to click that for my thumbnail. And then when you select that, then people that are into whiskey, when they get presented this, either on their mobile device or on a desktop computer like I am right now, then they're going to easily be able to identify like, oh, this is about whiskey, right? Without having to read any title, without having to explore anything, just a big, bold bottle of whiskey like right there in the shot. So I would definitely do those sorts of things as well. So hopefully you find that helpful. Same thing with you, Chad, is if you have any questions about, any of the stuff that I talked about, we're going to pull up another channel here in a second. But if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I talked about, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Just let me know at the top of the message that I looked at your channel. I'll recognize the name. But if it's like another, Twitter account or something like that, just let me know that I looked at your channel, and I can add clarity to anything that I mentioned there. All right, so the next one that we are going to do, and by the way, if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we are looking at YouTube channels. We're giving people tips on things that they can do to improve their, my pleasure, Chad. We're just giving people tips on things that they can do to improve what it is that they're doing on their channels. So this is all 100% free thanks to TubeSpanner, which is a YouTube workflow tool, AI script writing, social bio tools. You can share your content out to social platforms without even leaving YouTube through the browser extension. All kinds of really cool stuff, but you can try that out for yourself at tubespanner.com. Of course, there's links down in the description as well. But let's see here. The next hashtag, and if you're just joining us, all you have to do to participate and to get your channel pulled up is here in a second, I'm going to be showing a hashtag on screen. When I show that hashtag, all you have to do is put that hashtag in, and then this system that I'm using here, it's going to randomly select somebody that put in this hashtag. And you get to see everything on screen like as it's all going down, but this is the hashtag that you want to put into the chat if you want your channel pulled up and you want to get some, some tips on things that, that you can do to improve. Oops. Let's see here. I'm still getting used to this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, our next hashtag is TubeSpanner66. So if you want to put TubeSpanner66 into the chat right now, then we'll see who ends up getting picked here, and we will pull you up on screen, give you some tips. We look at your YouTube channel and see if we can, help you do better here on YouTube through these channel reviews, thanks to TubeSpanner at tubespanner.com. Have a great day, everybody. Yeah, I completely feel like I'm a store announcer. The airport thing works too. The things we do for entertainment, right? To entertain ourselves. It's awkward sitting in a room by yourself, right? Sitting in a room by yourself, it's just kind of default to things like that. I do need that beard. TBI Journey, totally need that beard. Okay, so we got Newfie movie reactions. Nice. Okay, so give me 1 second here to pull up your channel. I'm going to take this down while I'm here looking for your channel. And let me get this pulled up here. Hit play. Not play, hit enter. That's my almost 11 p.m. brain. Okay, so here we go. Let me make this bigger. So this channel here, they do, it's Newfie Movie Reactions. So let's see what we got. Okay, first impression, Newfie Movie Reactions, Newfie merch, Newfie Spirit, Newfie Reactions, new movie reactions every week. Okay, that's good. You even have a little sample here of the type of movies you're reviewing. Super smart thing to do there. Let's see here. You are driving people to Patreon to support. Got some additional social media links there as well. All this is fine up here at the top. I think this stuff is a little bit, cloudy, but it's okay. Not a big deal. But you tell people exactly what it is they're getting, which ultimately is movie reactions. And you're letting them know how often you're doing it. That's a win. As we scroll down the page, excuse me, movie reactions is my first time watching movies of all genres. Okay, so this is another one where you can use this to be a little bit more impactful. This is more important on mobile devices than it is for, desktop computers. But since they made this change, a lot of creators haven't updated this yet. So I'm just bringing this to your attention for the sake of letting you know that you, should update that to to have, you know, the value proposition or the value that people are going to be getting from your content. You know, new movie reviews, new movie reactions, you know, every Friday, or, you know, whatever the cadence is of your uploads. Movie reactions channel. Where So one thing you can do here, this is just a minor thing. This is just a little optimization thing. Is you can just add for desktop users, because mobile users, they can't respond to this. It'll just land them on your channel page. But and they won't even see this part anyway, so it doesn't matter. But for desktop users, they will see this part, just like you're seeing on my screen right now. For them, adding the auto subscribe button here. So, you know, subscribe, you know, click here to subscribe now, or click here, to, for, movie, reactions or something like that. I would just do click here to subscribe now. And adding that text, and then adding your channel URL with the underscore sub confirmation, question mark sub confirmation underscore equals 1. No, I'm sorry. Hope you're not writing this down. You're like scratching it out, writing it again. Nope, scratching it out. It is question mark sub underscore confirmation equals 1. If you add that text to the end of this and then you drop it right here, then that gives you an additional subscribe button right here for the people that are watching your trailer. So I would do that. It's just a little tiny optimization thing. Not going to make a big difference, but, you know, every person counts. So you put those things there for, you know, for those people. Let's see here. Videos, then popular uploads, trailer reactions, shorts. I would move your shorts down to the bottom instead of having them here. So you can keep people on the channel page focused on this content, your long form stuff, instead of trying to drive them into the shorts feed for here, just for the, you know, for the watch time and all that you get in the longer videos. Plus, I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, but when it comes to like short form versus long form, I don't remember hardly any short form creators, like in terms of like watching their content. Even if I see it on a regular basis, there's very few of them that will actually stand out and that I remember. But when it comes to long form content, I can watch like one video and remember the content creator. So so for little details like that, I would definitely, you know, focus people more on the long form while on your channel page. Of course, you want people to, you know, enjoy your shorts, but for the channel page, I would focus them on your long form. And if you want to keep this here, I would just move them down to the very bottom. Movie reactions, community reactions. So one thing that I would also do in your case, because you're using this, but you don't have it fully filled out here. So for people that are into movies, you know, because I'm into movies as well, like you know, obviously are. I would break these down. So like, if you're like, hey, you know, here's like sci-fi movie reviews, here's like, horror movie reviews, or maybe Marvel movie reviews, here's like drama movie reviews, like whatever, based on, you know, what it is that you offer. I would start breaking your content down that way, and then put your playlist on here as sections for that content. So then that way, if I watch one of your sci-fi movie reviews, I'm like, oh, that was awesome. Then it makes it easy for me to find all of your sci-fi content, right? So just putting those types of things on your YouTube channel page helps people know where to find it. Since you have a subscriber base already and you're getting, like decent views on your videos, one thing that you can do specifically, because you have data, is if you go to your analytics, you're going to see the content. If you just go to that main, that first page that you see when you land in your YouTube analytics, the quick view stuff, if you scroll to the bottom of that page, it's going to show you all of the content that's bringing in the traffic over the last 28 days. You can prioritize, so keep your videos here. You can also keep your popular videos there if you would like to, but it looks like, most of these are old, so you might want to move them down lower. But basically start prioritizing your playlist based on the content that's driving the channel. And the whole strategy with that, and this is something you can keep up with on a regular basis and, kind of swap them out, as different content starts bringing in more traffic to your channel and so on. But let's say, for example, if you go and you look at that and you see that let's say that 4 out of the last, we'll just say 4 videos are bringing in a majority of the traffic, and they're all based around, let's say Harry Potter or the Marvel universe or something. Then in that case, underneath your videos, then the next playlist would be, Marvel universe movie reactions, or, something like that. So the whole idea there is, on a desktop, it's really easy. I can go like this, and within seconds, I can be through your whole channel page. If you go and you look at your channel on a mobile device, totally different experience. There, you have to scroll through all these videos in order to get to content. So when you prioritize your playlist on your channel page and how people actually get to the content based on the content that's driving the channel. It just optimizes everything so that the majority of the users that are interacting with the channel can find more of that content that's bringing them into your channel as quickly as humanly possible if they hit your channel page. That's the idea with that. So I would definitely get more of those here onto your page. But let's talk about the more serious stuff. So since you already have a following, I'm going to dig in here just a little bit. Movie reactions, first time watching movies, all your genres. Okay, yeah, I would definitely modify that a little bit. I would also talk a little bit more here just about movies, your love of movies, the type of movies that you do, you know, those types of things. And the reason for that is getting those words in there, right? So it's like, you know, I do like horror movie reactions. I do reactions to these types of movies. But what you want to do is you want to do a lot of keyword research there. And then you want to write out your description in like a really keyword rich language. And this can also help your channel come up in some cases when people are looking for, you know, those types of content as well. Let's look for this one 4 weeks ago. Okay, so here I love that you're putting images here and that you're also using this to drive people to Patreon. Keep in mind, you can also use this as a way to bring people back into your channel. So for example, like let's say you have a video on your channel that's performing really well and people that, you know, watch it typically watch for a longer period of time. You get a lot of comments on it, you get a lot of likes on it because people are really enjoying it. Then you can share that content here to kind of give it, you know, just some extra attention. And that's a great way to pull people back into the channel as well. Another thing is if you have like, let's say you have, you know, like a certain handful of videos that are driving a lot of traffic to your channel, but let's say they're older videos, then in that particular case, you know, you can share, you know, some of those videos into here or just videos that would be related to that to the videos that are bringing traffic to your channel, share those here. So like as an example that I mentioned before about going into your analytics and seeing the content that's driving the channel. So if you find that like Marvel is, you know, bringing in the most traffic, then in that case, sharing just some Marvel content, maybe not even from that same, you know, not the same exact videos that are bringing in the traffic, but other Marvel content because people that are into Marvel movies and Marvel reactions are already interacting with the channel. And then this is your way to touch them. And then with that, you can also create a playlist of that Marvel content. And then you can frame the whole thing around, hey, people are really enjoying these videos. So, you know, if you want to check these out, you know, you might have missed these. So here's a, you know, here's a link to these videos. And when you do that, that creates that opportunity to bring people back into your channel, create binge watching sessions and things like that, which is all things that YouTube loves. So I would definitely start using this more aggressively for, you know, like videos and things like that, as well as the things that you're currently doing. One of the things that you can do here, if you choose to, is you can schedule these. So, you know, with the community piece post now, you can just sit down, you can say, okay, here over the next 30 days, here's some image posts to drive people to Patreon because I'm trying to do that. Here's some playlists that are going to be, you know, trying to drive people into video content. Here's some single videos that I'm going to do. Here's like a behind the scenes of me at the movie theater for the, you know, for that personal connection stuff, and just kind of plan all that stuff out and then just schedule it all out. Okay, making a lot of playlists. That's good. Yeah, like some of these, like, you know, yeah, like some of these, you could just take these right now because you've already got them into playlists. So you could take some of these and just go ahead and throw them right on your channel page. Good. You got the imagery in there. That's good. I don't know if you've experimented with this or not, but another thing to think about is like for the sake of what I was showing before with this right here with the short shelf, like if you're scrolling, like the first thing you're going to see here in this case is you. It might not matter, but one thing that I would experiment with is the placement. So like I would experiment with like, you know, this being on top versus you being on top for like some of the ones that you do and see if you notice a better performance on the ones that you swap just for the sake of it being, you know, at the top when people are scrolling. So that grabbing their attention before they see you, but you're kind of fixing that right here. You're handling that, you know, right here already. But just for the imagery side, I would definitely try that. And I wouldn't do this sort of thing with the subscribe on there. The reason for that is because, you know, this doesn't really do much for the viewer. Instead, I would just focus on just giving them really good reactions to where they want to subscribe. Of course, you know, calls to action to subscribe, you know, definitely help. But this one, it's so in your face that it almost detracts from, you know, the content. So if you are going to do something like this, I would just have like a little motion graphic come up like while you're talking, just kind of have it pop up and go there and then kind of go away versus it just constantly being, you know, right there in somebody's face, especially when it's a part of the thumbnail. Back when we could do custom thumbnails for these, like just from scratch custom thumbnails, that would have been a little bit more, you know, okay. But because it's like that, you know, in this section right here, you know, it could just detract people from watching the content. And you can even see here, right? Like looking at what YouTube is recommending is also like, you know, is a nice practice. So you can even see here, like Doug, they're interacting or they're sending me this because I watch his content. Same thing here with Think Media and with Justin here over at Creator Wizard. But, you know, they got like Snoop Dogg in here. It's just like Snoop Dogg. You got him to where it's just him. Here it's just focused on the machine. So like all of these are just not busy, right? And they're the ones that are being recommended. They're not recommending anything that's super busy. So just using that information by itself, just kind of cleaning up just the thumbnail side of these and just not making them so intense on the visuals. Because another thing to think about, and, you know, if I click on these, you know, this stuff might go away. But here on the thumbnail, it's like, you know, to watch this, my eyes are constantly being pulled up here and down here, which would make for not the best, you know, like viewing experience there. So I just experiment with those types of things and just see if it makes a difference or not. But let's get to the long form. Eclipse, that's good. You got your emotion in there. Will Bella finally choose? Twilight eclipse reaction. That's good. So I'm not sure if you've done this or not yet. But when you are doing this sort of thing, I would actually kind of swap this around. So like I would do like Twilight eclipse reaction because they're going to see this right here, right? That's going to pull them in, and so is this. Then I'd do like Twilight eclipse reaction, and then, you know, will Bella finally choose? You know, like those types of things to where the thing that they care about in terms of grabbing their attention is more towards the front. And then you have this as like the informative part there at the end. I would just experiment with that, with some of the videos that you're putting out and see if it makes a difference. Not rated R, Venom, let there be carnage reaction. Same thing here. The not rated R, I'm not sure. As somebody that watches Venom and like, you know, enjoyed that, I'm not sure what that particular part is, but, you know, Venom, let there be carnage reaction. You know, then at least you can come up for search for that, be recommended to people that are looking for anything around Venom. To Order Jacob, Twilight Moon reaction. Yeah, same thing here as well. Just experimenting, you know, some of your future content, just kind of swapping those out and seeing if it makes a difference in terms of, you know, people clicking on them through, you know, quickly understanding exactly what's going on there in terms of what they're going to get. Let's see, the best comic movie ever. Another thing that I would do is I would experiment with not using the asterisks in here. I would actually get those out. I don't know if you're doing that, trying to format them, because I know that like in video descriptions and stuff, you know, like you can bold things. I don't know if you're doing, and you do it with the asterisks like that. So I don't know if you're doing that for the sake of trying to bold those in the formatting and it's just not, you know, coming through. But I would definitely remove those from your titles. So another thing that I'm seeing here, like what you're doing, like this is all fine. Like here you're focusing heavily on the Jumanji, which is a win. But some of these, they're just a little bit busy in terms of like what to focus on. Like I love where you're showing like your actual like reactions and stuff. So I would definitely keep that in there. But maybe in like a situation like this, like if you're using the yellow to draw their attention to that, then maybe kind of like, you know, muting this down, you know, just a little bit. If you're trying to get them to focus on this, which it seems like that's what you're trying to do. I could be wrong. I don't know what your intention is. But if you are trying to get them to focus on this, just making it easier for them to focus on that. At the very least, just maybe adding like a drop shadow to it or something like that, so it just kind of stands out a little bit more against the stuff that's going on in the background, just to kind of help, you know, that thing that you're trying to get them to focus on to stand out a little bit better. But overall, though, like, you know, I think what you're doing is okay. I'm actually going to go and look 2 months ago. It's going to something recent. Paid promotion, love it. Love seeing content creators making money. Let's see here. I hope you enjoy my Twilight reaction to third degree. I love drama on another level. I love this right here because you're adding like a personal thing to it, and that's great for connecting with people and stuff. I love that. Comment below with your thoughts on the movie and what movies you'd like to see in the future. If you enjoy my content and would like to support the channel, please consider my Patreon. Okay. So one thing that is like I understand that you're wanting that income from Patreon. So I'm not saying to not drive people into Patreon, but one thing that is important to think about is when it comes to your, and this is like a bigger picture thing. So when it comes to your content strategy overall, I would and you might be doing this because I haven't looked at other videos, but one thing that I would think about is I would say, okay, if I'm going to be putting out, X amount of videos over the next 90 days, then I'm going to have some videos that are made to keep people on platform for the sake of video performance. And then I'm going to make other videos that are designed to, drive people into my Patreon. But then I'm going to use the high performing videos to actually link to the videos that are driving people off platform so that I can still, drive enough traffic to those to get people to go and, support the channel and stuff like that. So always put in your video description, things like that. But the thing that I'm trying to express is instead of having this right here, I would actually link them to another video. So I love all this. I thought this was going to lead me into watching another video, but I would actually link it to another video or playlist here, because what happens, the reason, and I'll explain why this is important. So if somebody watches your video and they go and they leave to Patreon, if YouTube had a point system, that would be like a negative point, right? If they come here and they click on this and watch another video, then that would be a plus point, right? That'd be a win on your behalf. So what YouTube is trying to do with all of us, with every video on the platform, they're trying to get as much watch time per impression as possible. And because of that, when somebody comes and they watch this video, if you can get them watching additional content, then what can happen is if people react to that at scale, then that can cause the originating video to get a lot more impressions on YouTube, because then if somebody watches your video and they make it all the way to the end of that video and they watch another video, or let's say they make it halfway through and then they click on this link right here because they went down to leave a comment and they click on this link and they end up going and watching another video, then YouTube detects that, hey, they just watched some of one video and then they ended up watching another one of your videos. Maybe they follow a link, if you do the same thing in another video. Every video that somebody watches when they're interacting with your YouTube channel increases the likelihood of YouTube recommending them more of your new content and more content from your archive. So the reason you want to think about that when it comes to, like a long view over like the next 90 days is because if you're bleeding viewers, then you're killing sessions, right? Because you have watch time and you have session time, right? Session time is how much time they're spending on YouTube. Watch time is how much time they're spending in your content or watching each individual video. So what you want to do less of is killing sessions, and what you want to do more of is keeping people on platform. And when you start doing that and you make content specifically for that, and in your case, like, you don't have to design it too hard. You just have to pick it and say, like, okay, this video I'm going to promote Patreon, this video I'm going to promote another video, this video I'm going to promote Patreon, this video I'm going to promote another video, however you want to do it. But the whole idea is having some of your content leading people into additional content so that you can increase the recommendations that you're getting. Because if people start following that path at scale, then YouTube is going to start promoting your videos to a larger audience, because you're not just getting the watch time on the one video, but you're getting watch time on 2 videos at scale, or maybe even 3 videos at scale if you link it into a playlist. So because of that, you want to just consider just kind of, this video I'm going to do Patreon, this video I'm going to do, try to get, get them into a playlist or another video or whatever. And by doing that, you can help the originating videos perform better and just cause people to get recommended your content more. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. Merch, Amazon, great, great. Love this. Store link, another vlog. Great, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow me on Instagram, video timestamps. Okay, so just as a heads up, when it comes to this type of thing, a lot of people will add these to their video descriptions, but these actually don't do anything. So in terms of like, a legal situation, this actually won't protect you in any way, shape, or form. So, the way that you're doing content, since you're doing reactions, that just falls into fair use naturally. So, you're like, as long as you're not just like playing the video and just like sitting there and not doing anything, but just watching the whole entire movie, then, like when you're doing reactions, the whole video is edited to where it's a transformative piece of content. By default, you are, falling under fair use. And the way that you're doing the content is going to be the thing that, that helps you be able to defend that. This right here actually it's not going to do anything for you. So because of that, I wouldn't even worry about putting that in future videos. You don't have to take it out. I'm just letting you know, like, it just doesn't do anything. So just make sure that you're keeping that in mind when it comes to that. Let's see here. Are you linking to other videos? Okay, so one thing that I would definitely make sure that you are doing here as well, just like the pinned comment, right? Again, the whole thing is getting people to watch multiple videos, or really, I keep saying getting, but that's not what you're doing. You're making it easy for people to find more of your content if they enjoy it. That's what you're doing. I'm working in my brain on reframing that. But basically, just like you do with the pinned comment, same exact thing here. Just make sure that you are adding additional videos and playlists and things like that where people can get through all of this stuff, because it's obvious that you're trying to generate revenue here, that you are generating revenue. So you can prioritize this stuff. That's fine. But like down here, I would put, a list of like, hey, see all my Twilight reactions, see all my Marvel reactions, see all my DC reactions, see all my Spider-Man reactions. Just kind of break them down that way, and just have a block that you put down there in all of your videos so that people can easily find more of that. Let's see here. Just a couple things here really quick. Okay, you've got this. That's a lot to choose from in terms of, somebody lands here. So hopefully you're running out like a good amount of time here for people to be able to choose that. Let's see, we've got 56 seconds. Yeah, so you're rolling the full 20 seconds. Okay, you're fine. That gives people time to make the choice. Yeah, so in your case, really, I would kind of get the channel page cleaned up. I would get more links going to the right places. I would think out your titles in terms of making sure that like the Twilight stuff and things like that, making sure that that's just easy for people to see. You're writing short titles, so I don't really think that's a huge thing, but I would definitely get the asterisks out of there. But when it comes to your titles, because all of your titles, like nothing that I'm seeing right here, at least at this glance, like nothing's getting cut off or truncated. So like you're fine there, I think. But just for optimization's sake, if you do end up writing longer titles, and in that case, I just make sure the Twilight stuff is up towards the front. But I would definitely get the asterisks out of there, and then I would also just start linking some of your content up, so you can just multiply the watch time that you're getting, and start using your community feed more to bring people back into the channel. Another thing as well, because again, you have data, is I would also go in, because as a movie enthusiast, it's going to be really easy for you to break content down by genre. If you're not doing this already, go in and start using your grouping feature on your YouTube channel in your analytics. If you go into your YouTube analytics, go into advanced mode, and then you click on your channel name, a little box is going to pop up. When that box pops up, the third tab over, I believe it is called groups. What you can do is you can create a group, and you can start putting in like, okay, this is my comic book related content. This is my like Twilight-ish type content, whatever. And you can start taking all of that content and grouping it up, and then comparing the content sets against each other. So you can start seeing what people respond to best at scale over time. So then that can tell you like, okay, well, if nobody's responding to the Twilight stuff, but people are responding massively to like the comic book stuff, then in that case, I'm not going to do as much Twilight stuff, and I'm going to focus tons on the comic book stuff. So in that particular case, you would be using the data that you're currently getting in order to identify the sets of content that people are responding to at the highest rate. So you can start killing some of them and then doing more of the other ones while experimenting with like different types of movies and stuff. So hopefully that helped. And again, in your case, man, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I mentioned, feel free to DM me on Twitter, and I'll add any clarity that I can to any of that stuff. So on that note, thank you everybody for hanging out today. So we do these streams on a regular basis. We're doing them, it seems to be like, bi-weekly now, or maybe like, 2 or 3 times a month. So make sure you subscribe here to the TubeSpanner channel so that you can make sure that you get notified when the next ones pop up. And in addition to that, remember, TubeSpanner is a tool that can help you with your YouTube channel. So you can try that out at tubespanner.com, or of course, there's a link in the description. And besides that, everybody have a fantastic rest of your weekend. I'm going to be streaming on my channel with my brother D tomorrow. So I will see you over there if you enjoy just the whole live stream thing. And besides that, have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.